When things are big that should be small, who can tell what magic spells we've been doing for us? And I'm giving all my love to this world, only to be told I can't see, I can't breathe, no more will we be. And nothing's gonna change the way we live, cause we can always take and never give. And nothing brings the rains before the world see. Whoa, it's a crazy world we're living in, and I just can't see that half of us immersed in sickness. We have to keep your futures made of virtual insanity. Welcome to the show, Dandapani. Welcome, Dandapani, to the show. You're on the Greatness Machine.
Thank you, Darius. What I would pay to be able to sing like you.
It's many, many years of singing in the shower, I'm telling you.
Awesome.
Well, guys, welcome to the Greatness Machine. I'm your host, Darius Mirshahzadeh. And my gosh, today we have a very, very special guest. I hate to use the word legend, but you are a legend, Dandapani.
Thank you.
So pleased and grateful to have you here. Thank you for coming to the show, man.
No, and thank you for having me. Thank you for still remembering me after all these years.
Oh man, how could I forget you, my friend? I think about you all the time. Your work is always on my mind, and it's probably more relevant now than ever. Guys, look, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. Let's get, and then we'll jump into the show. The format of the show is quite simple. We're bringing together change makers from all over the world who are living their passions to create greatness. And when I made my list of people I wanted on the show, I'm not kidding you, Mr. Dandapani, I had you in my the top 2. So
thank you.
It is such a gift to have you here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir.
A couple of things, guys. We are live streaming. So start a watch party. I sent an email to my friends out earlier this morning. I said, guys, if there is 1 hour of your day where you get to maximize your ROI, it is the hour you're going to spend interacting with each other and being able to watch Dandapani's interview on my show. So please start a watch party, spread the word, ask questions. My team's on standby. They're going to be sending questions over to us. And I just am so grateful to have this man on my show. Now, I didn't tell you this.
Hey, Darius, really quickly, is this public or just to your group only?
Oh, it's on Facebook.
It's on Facebook. Can you tag me or send me the link and I'll just post it to my community? It'll take like 20 seconds.
Yeah. Hey, I'll have my team do this. What you can do, Dandapani, is you can do a watch party after. Oh, you want to do it during right now? Do you want to do it during? Let me see.
If your team could just post the link in the group chat, I'll just grab it from there.
Yeah, let's do that. Let me grab the link right here now, and I'll send it to you because I don't want to have the team miss that. But yeah, I'd love to do that. Let's grab that. 1 second, please.
Yep.
And
sorry, I thought it was just a private group watch party. Then
no. Yeah, no. This is public. So here we are. I'll put it in the chat. So this is on Facebook, and then that's the easiest way to do it. That's where the team's getting questions from. So
okay,
and grab that.
And they can watch it there.
Yeah, they can watch it on Facebook, and if they want, they could go to www. Let me give you my. Use the second one. Sorry, she sent me the watch party. I just sent that to you.
Okay.
TheRealDarius.com. If they go to therealdarius.com, they can look it up on other channels if they're not on Facebook. If they want to go on YouTube, it's on live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. We're on a bunch of different networks right now.
Okay.
So while we do that, I'm going to make a quick introduction. So, Mr. Dandapani, I do not tell people this, but I like to make up a little bit of my own bios for you guys, just because
no, don't tell them what I told you.
No, you know what's funny? Was the end of mine I had to change because of something you just told me. I wrote, Dandapani is a Hindu priest, entrepreneur, former monk, amazing keynote speaker, teacher, and most importantly, I wrote that you are a New Yorker, but that has now changed.
Yes.
You're now Floridian temporarily until you go on the big journey.
Yes.
Did I miss anything? Did I get you?
No, I think that's it.
So, my friend.
Occasional idiot, maybe.
Well, look, it's been a while, man. We haven't seen each other, and I just know that you've been going around the world teaching the wonderful things that you've learned and that continue to learn over the years. But how are things going for you?
Things have been going, it's been interesting since COVID, right? And part of what I do is travel and speak. And as you know, I travel all around the world, and ever since COVID took place, that ended. So I'm doing a lot more virtual events. But I think, the pandemic, I know it's been devastating for so many lives. People have lost loved ones, people have lost jobs, so many things. There's so many bad things that come out of it. And obviously my whole speaking world has come to a halt, traveling and speaking. But I've really tried to look at this as an opportunity to recalibrate my life. How can this pandemic be a blessing to us? And what can I learn from this? And how can I use it to improve my life and reassess my life? And I've been grateful. I think I've taken this opportunity to really change a lot of things in my life. And one is accelerate my move to Costa Rica, where we're building a retreat center and botanical gardens. So we had planned to go probably in another 2 or 3 years, but when the pandemic happened, we said, we're just going to do it now.
Yeah.
And really trying to move a lot of what I'm doing digitally. It was hard life traveling everywhere the way I was doing.
Yeah. So I traveled quite a bit up until about a year ago, but how did you ever keep track of how much you were traveling? Like how many days in a year did you travel?
I don't recall. I would be on the road maybe like 2-3 times a month sometimes, but long trips. I would fly from New York to Abu Dhabi for 30 hours, give a 40-minute talk, turn around and fly back. Wow. And then 2 days later, fly to San Francisco for one night, fly back, fly to London for one night, fly back. So, I mean, if I was flying within the States or going to DC or Philly, then it'd be something else. But I mean, these were long hauls. I go to Nairobi, go to Sydney.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
in Sydney to give a 30-minute talk and then turn around and came home, like what the heck?
Yeah, I will say I traveled 192 days in 2018, but it was
wow.
For the most part domestic. I did one trip to London to meet with the Virgin family office for a project, but besides that, I can't even imagine that's. And so let me ask you a question, like being someone that's traveled that much and doing the work that you do on focus and distraction, like how did you ground yourself and keep yourself like straight and able to not get like destroyed by that type of travel?
Some days well, some days not very well. I think I have a physical body. A lot of people see me dressed up like this and know I lived as a monk, under serious discipline for 10 years, think that I levitate and I'm unaffected by everything around me. They don't realize I have a physical body. I burp, I cry, I poop, just like every other human being on this planet. And and some days it's tough. When you fly to Abu Dhabi and, you land at 8 o'clock at night, you go from the airport to the sound check at 10 o'clock at night, you sleep, you wake up first thing in the morning, you go give a talk, come back to your hotel, get in the car, go back to the airport and fly home. That's hard on the body.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, you turn around and you fly across to the East Coast in a completely different direction. It's tough. So, some days are hard. The one thing I think I've learned to do well is I've learned to completely get over jet lag. I have no jet lag, no matter where I fly to. I could go to Africa, Sydney, I come back within 24 hours, I'm back in schedule again.
What's the secret to that for you?
A few things. One is getting into the time zone as quickly as possible. So, if I land in Abu Dhabi at 10 o'clock at night, or if I land at Sydney at 8 o'clock in the morning, I don't sleep. If it's 8 in the morning, I'm awake. No matter how wasted, how tired I am, wasted not from tiredness, not from drinking, just to be clear in case people are, wasted, I know is used in different contexts. Yes. So no matter how tired I am, I'll just push myself to stay awake. I'll eat a little bit more as well because food tends to give me more energy. Typically, I only eat 3 meals a day and I don't snack in between. So I'll snack in between on that day that I land just to kind of keep me going. I'll go out for a walk. I'll torture myself and push myself to like 9:30 at night, 10 o'clock, and then crash and sleep. But try and get back into the cycle. And that's been a big thing for me. And then I time everything, right? So if I'm flying out of JFK on the 11 a.m. Emirates flight, then I'm timing everything, what time I'm eating.
Right.
It's so funny, you see people always say yes to food on the plane. The stewardess coming down the aisle with food, and they go like, "Yep." It's like you don't have to eat just because somebody is showing it to you. You don't have to say yes. You can't say no. And And you're not burning energy on the plane sitting in the seat. So, I choose my meals, I choose when I go to sleep, I time it like, if I sleep 5 hours now on the flight, then what am I going to land and what time is it when I'm going to land? So I do a lot of calculation and planning, and that really helps me get over jet lag.
Yeah,
But it's still, at the end of the day, exhausting.
oh, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I hear you. Not like, because I was doing domestic. So, yeah, it's amazing what I used to. I don't know if you remember. I was much heavier last time you saw me.
I was going to mention that. Yeah, you look great.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I lost a lot of weight, but in my journey of doing weight loss, I used to wear this device called a body bug that would measure your caloric burn. Like you wore it up on your arm, and it was like these sensors that measure the heat on your body. And I learned one really interesting fact: your body burns the same amount of energy sitting down as it does when you're sleeping. Like, I didn't know
Really?
that. Same exact. It's like what, like instead of 10 calories an hour, it's 9 calories an hour or something like that when you're sleeping.
Wow.
It's one calorie different. It's very per minute. It's like you burn about 110 calories an hour when you are sitting or sleeping, and it's 130 when you're sitting. It's almost the same. So I was amazed by that, because I'd wear it when I slept, and then I'd wear it when I was sitting. I'm like, wow, I didn't burn any calories today because I was sitting at my desk all day. So to your point, people eat out of boredom, right? So they're like, oh yeah, why would I say no? It's free food. I'm bored.
Boredom, and also because someone's offering it to them, so you take it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy on the plane, because they feed you, and then 4 hours later they feed you again, and you think like, I haven't done nothing. Just sat here strapped to the seat. I don't deserve to eat.
I haven't earned this meal.
No, exactly. Just say no. All right.
That's yeah, especially on international, they give you food. So I want to dive into a couple things, if you don't mind.
Yeah, for sure.
Like this thing you're building in Costa Rica. Do you mind if we talk about that? Because I'd love to. It, and I'm so amazed by this, and I can't wait till it's ready to come see it. But please tell us about this.
Yeah, so it's called Siva Ashram, and it's in northwestern Costa Rica. So you fly into Liberia. It's in a town called Nosara. It's 2.5 hours south from the airport. So we have 33 acres of land right on the river. We're a few minutes away from the beach. We're a few minutes away from 3 beautiful beaches. And we're creating a botanical garden and a spiritual sanctuary. So I have a love for plants and trees and the environment. So it's a place where we hope to have retreats one day. But the gardens will be open every day for people to come and visit. And rather than making it just a typical garden where you go and you see trees and you have no idea, but just feel nice in nature, the gardens are broken up into 7 smaller gardens, each representing a different area of the mind. And in every garden, we'll share a tool that a person can take and apply into their life to help them. So one garden is on developing willpower. So even if you're Joe from Idaho and you have no interest in spirituality, but maybe you like gardens and you walk there and you see to the garden on willpower, you can learn or read about how to develop your willpower. So the idea is that everybody leaves this place with some tool that they have, which then they have the opportunity to apply in their life when they need it. And I always feel, Darius, that we struggle in life because we've never been empowered with the tools we need to help us get through life. So there's a guy I met many years ago. His name is Darius. And he was sharing with me, which happens to be you, he was sharing with me about this exercise on worry that he did, right? So every time he worried, he would write it down on a piece of paper, right? Put the paper away, and then next worry come, he'd write it down. And then at the end of the month, he'd pull out all his papers, look and check off how many worries that actually came true. And it was none.
Yeah.
Great tool, right? Great simple exercise to prove that, where a lot of times we worry about nothing. And but these tools help us in life, and most of us don't learn any tools. So the idea one of the ideas with Siva Ashram is to share with people tools that they can use, then be empowered with, to then improve their lives. And the other aspect of it is also to teach people about the environment and the importance of why we need to care for our environment. So we have a 50-year plan for Siva Ashram, and we have a 300-year plan.
Oh my gosh.
And the idea is, after I'm dead and gone, how does it continue to impact lives? And that's why the 300-year plan. And part of the 300-year plan is to, and tell me to stop if I'm going on.
No, please. I'm loving this.
And part of the 300-year plan is, how do we get people to care about the environment, right? And one of the ways I do it is that So if I said to you, you have kids, right?
Correct. I have two.
Yeah. How old are they?
10 and 7.
10 and 7. Do you love your kids?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask you another question. If your kids had kids at the appropriate age, would you love your grandkids?
Oh, I wouldn't care what the age was, but yeah, of course, I can't wait to have them.
No, I mean at the appropriate age, your kids should have kids.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to teach them that. Yeah.
Right. And should you be so blessed that you could be alive and see your great grandkids? Would you love your great grandkids?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Right. Little ankle biters, you grab them and kiss them. Right.
Yeah.
So you think now the question is, what are you doing as a person to ensure that they have an environment, your great grandkids have an environment to thrive in, that they have clean water, clean food, clean air? And if you ask most people this question, they're not doing anything. Right. But yeah, they love their great grandkids. So the 300-year plan is to get people to think long-term, big picture.
Right.
And yes, we're going to have generations coming that need a place to thrive and live. And if we don't help create it for them, then we don't really ultimately care about our great grandkids.
Yeah. I love the way you think of that. And, we were talking before the show about a mutual friend of ours, Rand Stagen, and he's all about long-termism, right?
Yep. I love Rand for that.
Yeah, me too. And he and I were debating it for a little bit because of my book. And I was telling him my book I just wrote about how do you build a core value-driven organization. And I told him that I believe core values should never change for an organization for that reason. Mm-hmm. And it was more of a tactical debate on organizations change, and when they change, their values may change. But anyhow, it's gotten me to think a lot. And I had I know this guy actually, by the way. His name's Dandapani, and I met him once many years ago at a TEDx event that he spoke about. That happens. I don't know if you know, but there's millions of views for this TEDx event that he spoke at. And that was the first time I met him. And he said something that I actually use a lot, all the time, actually. He said that, when we're young, there's so many things we're not taught. One of which is we're not taught to focus, and we're not taught how to not be distracted. And what I've been finding myself saying is, what are these things like this? What you just brought up right now, we're not taught this. People are taught for instant gratification. They are actually incentivized for instant gratification in their lives and in their business with their friends and family. And I think that what's happened is because of that, we don't realize what we're doing to either the world around us or the relationships we have, because we're thinking about the now and we're not thinking about the future. And for me, I've been talking a lot to people about, we're taught so many things in our life, but why can't we be taught things like that, or taught about focus and distraction? And I use meditation. I started a meditation practice 18 months ago. And I said, I can't believe I was 41 years old when I adopted this practice. And it came out of pain and suffering that I found that as a solution. Yeah. Why wasn't I taught that when I was 5 years old or 3 years old?
Because our whole education system's a mess, right? I mean, we learn things that are irrelevant to what we need in life to thrive in life. Even if people were taught basic accounting, we'd be in a better financial place, all of us. Right. And we aren't taught that, and we aren't taught so many things growing up. And I think the key is really tools, right? Sharing with people tools that they can empower in their life. And there's a really, I spoke in an event in Germany a few years ago, and this lady shared with me, she was in her late 30s. She's a business owner, and she said, when I was 7 years old, someone taught me to lay on my back and breathe deeply when I'm feeling stressed. And they taught me how to lay on the back. They taught me how to breathe diaphragmatically. And now I'm 37 years old and I run a company. And when I'm feeling overwhelmed, I close my office door, I lay on my office floor, and I do the same breathing technique. Mm-hmm. What a great lesson here. A 7-year-old girl was taught this, and now 30 years later, she's using it still in her life. And that to me is really what I want that Costa Rica project, and really my mission is to share people tools, and not only share with them, but teach them how to apply it in their life. So once they have the tool, then they'll always know how to apply it in their life, and especially if we can teach kids, then like this woman who learned it at 30 years later, she's still applying it in her life.
when you think of that, and it was funny because, you know, I think you're I said it, and I think that you teach courses and you're a speaker and a teacher, but, you know, I was looking on your site and I saw that you do work around purpose.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when you think of how purpose intertwines with that, when you think of how, and I had a conversation yesterday with someone who was, we were talking about how it's really hard to define purpose, and that people try to oversimplify it, but it's a process, and you have to get really clear on this. What are your thoughts on how, when you are helping people define their purpose, how do you do that? And B, how do you apply that to do the things that you're talking about right now?
Yeah, so I think just one thing before those two questions, you know, it's hard to find your purpose because, again, we're never taught how to find our purpose, right? Like, you ran a company and you were taught a lot of things, right? You belong to groups, you had peer-to-peer groups, you took courses, you hired consultants to help you discover the core values of the company, the mission of the company, this, you know, so many different things, because you don't know everything about running a company, and that's why you have a team and you find the right people to support you. So the same way, people don't know how to find their purpose because first of all, they've never been told that they need a purpose in life. When you were growing up, did anyone tell you you need a purpose in life?
Oh, of course not. No.
Yeah. So then you go like, why the heck do I need a purpose? And then even if you wanted to find a purpose, how do you go about figuring it out? And most people don't know how to do it, right? But if you look at our day-to-day lives, most of our lives are driven by purpose. You know, if you live in Los Angeles, you live in New York, you live in a busy city, you get in a car, it's for a purpose. If you live in LA, you never get in a car just to go for a drive, not in that traffic, right? There has to be a reason, right? You go to the bathroom, there's a purpose. You don't go to the bathroom and go, I'm not sure why I'm here. You know, most things we do throughout the day is purpose driven. Right. So why then should life not have a purpose? Right. And my sense here is that, you know, most people don't know their purpose in life because they've never spent enough time with themselves. So they don't know themselves enough. You know, we make time for everyone and everything around us, but we never make time for the people and things that matter to us, and we never make time for ourselves, right? And that's where the issue is.
So when you're, and I hear every single thing you're saying. So when you start thinking about the things that you're promoting, that you teach, right? So you teach about the mind, and you teach about focus, and and I think that a lot of that has to do with when we're with ourselves. Yeah, that's who we're with, right? Yeah. So how do those play into?
Can you pause 1 second, Darius?
Of course.
I'm so sorry. Yep. Okay, go ahead. Sorry. Hey, Darius, I'm really sorry. Io is reaching out to me and saying the event is now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Hang on 1 second, all right?
Yeah, no worries. No worries. Do your thing.
Hey, Darius. Yeah. I'm really sorry, man.
Do you need to reschedule?
Yeah, can we reschedule this? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Listen, I appreciate it. I think things happen. This is part of the issue of going live, right? So yeah, it happens live. So look,
there was a mix-up with the timing, and
we'll reschedule. We'll pick up and do this again. I appreciate your time on this, and I'll just send you my calendar, and we'll reschedule this if that works.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll reschedule this, and we'll start over with Mr. Dandapani. Thanks for being here, my friend. We'll talk
soon. Sorry, everyone, for having to do this, but there was a mix-up in my schedule.
No worries. No worries, my friend. Good luck on that, and we'll get this rescheduled. All right.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Darius. Bye.
Bye. Guys, no worries. Dandapani had a mix-up in his schedule. So unfortunately, we are going to have to reschedule the talk. Right, things happen. This is part of going live. If it wasn't live, nobody would have seen this. But thank you guys for joining us today. I can't wait to pick up with Mr. Dandapani and do this again. And yeah, things happen. But have a great day. We have 2 more shows this afternoon. One is with an elementary school teacher who happens to be my best friend and one of my best friends, and his name is Rich O'Connor. So I'm looking forward to having him on. And then we have Jessica Lawson, who has a great food blog right after that. So we got 2 more great shows. Join us for that. And I'll send you guys out the reschedule for Dandapani. I'm sure it'll be a great talk when we get him back on. All right, everybody.